Hey everybody, Sean here from Android Central again. I've shown you the hardware for the new Nook Touch device, but you're probably wondering what the software looks like. So it's currently in sleep mode. If I press the Nook button down here, it'll bring a drag to unlock screen, which is familiar to many of us. So if I slide that across, it'll bring up the Barnes & Noble home screen. As you can see, it's split up into three different sections. You have your Reading Now section, New Reads, which are some of your library contents, and what to read next, some recommendations from Barnes & Noble based on what you're reading at the moment. Now, anytime the device is active, you can press this Nook button, and it'll bring up 5 options. Home, which is the home screen that we're looking at currently. Library, which is pretty straightforward. It brings up all of the books that are currently in your Barnes & Noble library. So you can scroll down here. You can swipe. You have Shop, which brings you to the Barnes & Noble Nook store. So you can browse or search or browse some popular lists like the New York Times bestseller or the Barnes & Noble Top 100. Then you have Search right here, which will search not only your device, but the Barnes & Noble store. So let's say I type in Game of Thrones. As you can see, the touchscreen is pretty impressive right now. And I press search, and it'll bring up, I don't have it in my library currently, but Shop, it has 3 matches, so I'll be able to go to the store and buy it if I want. I can get a free sample. I can share it if I'm, if I have friends in my Nook community. Now the last option is the settings. So if I go into settings right here, you have device info, wireless, screen, time, reader, shop, social, and search. So let's go into device info real quick. So as you can see, the battery, it'll tell you how long left you have on your battery. It says 13%. It's been on for quite a while. Your available storage for this device. It has an internal storage of 236 megs, but there is an SD card slot, so you can put an SD card in there and never have to worry about deleting a book again if you want. You can get information on your book, erase a device if need be. Wireless, because remember, this Nook Touch is Wi-Fi only. It does not have 3G, so you're going to have to use wireless all the time. Screen. You can set the screen timeout or the screensaver if you don't like those famous. I think it's famous authors by default. Authors, or you can have nature, or you can choose your own. Let's see, go into Reader, and if you want, these buttons are actually customizable. So if you prefer the top buttons to be the back buttons, you just select this right here. I prefer the top buttons to be the forward buttons, but that's just me, and you may have different preferences. There's your shop account, social. So you can set up, Barnes & Noble has done an interesting thing here. They've set up a way to connect your Facebook, Twitter, and Google contacts on your Nook device. And the reason that they're doing that is because they want you to get in the habit of sharing the books that you are enjoying, the books or the periodicals or the newspapers or what have you. And so far I have connected my Google contacts to this, but it was a pretty slow process. I had a tough time connecting, and it was a slow syncing process, and it just wasn't smooth or enjoyable. And I don't see this feature being very popular anyway. If I like a book, I'm probably going to go share it with my contacts on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, outside of the Nook Touch. This, for me, is a device that excels at an e-reader and shouldn't do much more. And while I appreciate their effort, and it just doesn't do it for me. So along the top, as you may have seen from when I'm going, you have these icons as well. This is a notification right here. So you can see they tell me that my Google contacts were finally imported, and that they can be my Nook friends now. Okay, so I've shown you a lot of the settings, but let me show you how it actually looks as an e-reader. So this is a book called Death to the BCS. It's about college football. Here's the title page. And so you can use these forward buttons. That works just fine, but you know, one of the main features of this is it's a touchscreen, so you can just swipe left or right. Let's get to the first chapter. Here's an introduction. So it's a pretty quick, it's a pretty fast transition. There's no, in my testing, there hasn't been significant pauses with the touchscreen interface. So that's pretty much the software for the new Nook Touch. I've enjoyed it very much as an e-reader, and as I said before, it excels at that one. It does one thing really well. It is an e-reader. It's not a tablet, although it can be hacked, as we've seen before. You know, you put the SD card in there, and you load up Angry Birds after you root it, just to do it, because Angry Birds is not gonna look great on here, but you know, it's still cool. So there's my overview of the new Nook Touch software. Thanks a lot.